What am? Welcome back to Logix Lens. Today, we're going to look through the lens of Sony and see if they're actually on panic mode. In case y'all haven't heard lately, the latest news on Sony is that Jim Ryan, the CEO, is stepping down. He is retiring. This is coming after a history of Sony making some very weird ass decisions lately, and it's just kind of funny. And I personally have suspicions that they are like PlayStation is imploding in a sense. I could be totally wrong. This is all speculation, but I am going to discuss everything that's been going on at Sony, which all leads up to Jim Ryan actually retiring, stepping down. And I just think that the trend is just more than a coincidence. Let's not forget that Sony recently has given us the PlayStation Portal, nobody wants. The PlayStation VR 2, nobody gives a fuck about. The price hike in the PlayStation Plus subscription, everybody's mad as fuck about. With all that coming together, and then we got Jim Ryan stepping down as CEO, I think that timeline is just a little bit suspicious. I don't know, but let's look at all of it as a collective and see how we got here. I personally couldn't find anything recent on the PlayStation VR 2 sales as far as September, August numbers have gone. So the latest I could find is like May and June. So this article from The Wrap was made in May. I couldn't find anything later than May. So we're gonna go off this. According to a recent report from Sony, the more expensive headset was approaching just under 600,000 units sold in the 6 week since its February debut, compared to the PSVR that hovered around 550,000 units in the 6 weeks following its October 2016 launch. And again, the sales feat was achieved despite the sequel accessory having a higher price point and fewer customers to sell than its predecessor. There are caveats to the numbers, including the fact that over 400,000 of the PlayStation VR 2 sales were pre-orders, and that continual sales across the 6 weeks disclosed by Sony indicate a drop-off in customer interest, with the curve approaching a plateau. One seemingly not far off based on the report's trajectory, but that's speculation, and furthermore will be a natural outcome of an expensive headset selling what it already has against a small relative to the PS4 user base. It tracks that early adopters of the PS5 will also be the sort of consumers to gravitate towards its expensive peripherals, given that acquiring a PS5 hasn't been the easiest task since its 2020 launch. Reading that, it seems that though everything I saw was saying that 600,000 in May, June was actually good. It was tracking good for them, and they're proud of those numbers, and it beat out the VR1 sales. I don't know what that 600,000 looks like in August. I don't know if it's grown exponentially, if it's grown much at all. So all we could go off is that. In my opinion, I think that it's not going to shoot up anymore probably within a year. I don't see it just skyrocketing, especially when the VR2 hasn't offered anything that's captivating to make people run out and go spend more than they spend more on a peripheral than they spent on the hardware that it needs to go with. I think this plays into all of what we're seeing now is because of that massive price. Again, the hardware you can't argue that it's worth the $550 price point, but that's a big ask on a peripheral that the masses aren't interested in, and it's already next to a $500 console that's already hard to obtain. So that decision, I would say, isn't in the best interest of the consumers. Next, we have the PlayStation Portal, aka PlayStation Poo Poo. This thing came out and they announced it a few months ago, and just to very bad reception. The projected date is November 15th, I believe. It's supposed to drop PlayStation Portal at $200. You know, you have a really pointless peripheral. We already have PlayStation Remote Play that allows us to play PlayStation 5 games on our laptops, PCs, phones, tablets. And it's pretty smooth and effective, if I must say so myself. I use it on my PC and it works perfectly fine. I have no real issue with it. And then you have the PlayStation Backbone, which is an attachment that you can put onto your phone if you want to play games on your phone straight like that with PS Remote Play as well. So I just kind of don't understand where they went with this and Why? It kind of doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So I think that that's another decision that Sony made that's just kind of like, eh. So we'll read this little excerpt from Digital Trends. The most important thing to know about the PlayStation Portal is what it really is. This is not a dedicated handheld like the PSP or Vita that you can play games on natively, but instead can only be used as a companion to your PlayStation 5. This device is only intended to stream games from your main console to the screen via Wi-Fi for remote play. Games cannot be played locally on the device, meaning it cannot function without connecting to your PS5. However, you do not need to be on the same network as your PS5. As long as your PS5 is in rest mode and connected to Wi-Fi, you can connect to it through another Wi-Fi network to play, provided the connection is strong enough. And not only that, you can't even use Bluetooth headphones. They already are trying to buy you out by making you pay for another peripheral. There's the damn PlayStation earbud plus bud thing. I don't know what it's called in their headset. To even be able to hear it with a headset device or earbuds, you have to buy their earbuds, their headset. It's absolutely like, we all have Bluetooth. Bluetooth is everywhere. Just like iPhone had to give it up for their USB-C, PlayStation needs to give it up for Bluetooth, because that's absolute bullshit to make you pay $200 for this pointless ass headset and then pay another $200 to $250 for their listening devices. And let's not forget the latest and greatest news coming from Sony Interactive Entertainment is their PlayStation Plus price increases. Just a little over a month ago, we got news that PlayStation Plus is going up on all their subscriptions for online multiplayer, up to 20% for all tiers. Mind you, that came with no announcement of any upgrades, any add-ons, any benefits, any way to discount it or something like that. It's just, no, we just going up and you ain't really getting shit for it. Right here, the PlayStation Plus Essential 12-month subscription went from $60 to $80 a month. Like I said before, my video is bad enough that we even have to pay to play for multiplayer when we're already paying for online anyway. You got the extra edition going from, what was it? I believe 115 to 135 or something like that, or it was 120 to 135. And then you got the Plus going up to 160 from what I believe was about 140, 135 or something like that. Regardless, it's just way too much. They're not offering anything on the level of Game Pass whatsoever. Nothing that will make me be like, maybe that is worth it. You know, give me all the day one exclusives for free. Even if you put that on the premium edition, which I highly doubt they're gonna do. I just can't believe this decision they made and how they think that people are gonna jump for joy for it. So all these decisions culminate to come to where we are now, which is Jim Ryan stepping down as SIE CEO. From CNN Business, we read, PlayStation boss Jim Ryan is stepping down from the company, Sony announced Wednesday. The Sony Interactive Entertainment president and CEO will be retiring in March 2024 after 30 years in the PlayStation business. Sony Group Corporation President, COO, and CFO Hiroki Totoki will assume the role of SIE chairman next month to support the transition and will take over as interim CEO once Ryan retires. Ryan joined SIE in 1994 and was appointed CEO in 2019. He had previously held senior positions at the company, including president of SIE Europe, head of global sales and marketing at SIE, and deputy president of SIE. Ryan led the launch of the PlayStation 5, which the company said is PlayStation's most successful platform. I found it increasingly difficult to reconcile living in Europe and working in North America, Ryan said in a statement. I will leave having been privileged to work on products that have touched millions of lives across the world. Jim, I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. I'm not no big conspiracy theorist guy. I don't even think that this isn't fully true, but stepping down as CEO because you have to work in North America, but you live in Europe. How 30 years and now you realize this? After all these fuck ass decisions you done made with this company, and it all kind of probably bit you in the ass, and I feel like a lot of the investors are looking at you like,
Jim, what you got? What are you doing? What are you doing? What? What are you doing? Like, come on, you just let them know you're retiring.
I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just weird. I think the timing is all weird. I don't think, it's not to say that CEOs can't step down or retire. I just think that the timing is just weird to me. All these baffling decisions, and then it's like, yeah, I'm finna just step away from all this shit. I'm kind of done. And I think it just really would have been bad PR to be like, Sony CEO Jim Ryan has been fired. Like, I just think that would just talk about news, boy. All that Xbox shit would have been long and gone and forgotten. With all that being said, again, this is all me just speculating. Of course, there's nothing I can prove with anything that I've said. All I've known is that Sony has been making some weird ass decisions lately, and all of it has led to Jim Ryan stepping down as CEO. I don't know what this means for Sony. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing or it's neutral. I think regardless that they definitely need to do a lot of working in those rooms. Like, a lot of discussions need to be had as this company thinks they're going to continue to move forward in this gaming industry, because everything they've been doing lately just makes absolutely no sense and all seem to be anti-consumer. Nonetheless, Sony, I've been a supporter for a while. I hope that this change brings about good, and whoever, if Hiroki keeps that position or you find a new CEO, just make sure you put the consumers first. Thanks for tuning in to Logix Lens, where the gamers win, and I'm out.